Whether you believe it imposes voting restrictions or protects the integrity of the system, there was a major move today because of that new Georgia law. Major League Baseball announced it's pulling the All-Star game and the draft out of Atlanta in retaliation. State Republican leaders have been criticized by Democrats ever since the legislature was approved and Governor Kemp signed the changes last week. Our Karen Aguilar got a local political science professor's perspective on the issue. Karen.
Greg, critics of the changes contend those laws amount to voter suppression, while proponents say those laws help prevent voter fraud. A political science professor I spoke with says there are many sides to this story. After a loss to Democrats during the Senate runoff races and in the last presidential election,
textbook voter suppression,
the Georgia legislature has created restrictions and changes in a 98-page voting law.
There are things in there that make voting more accessible, but there are also things that make it less accessible.
16 key provisions have been pointed out that have caused commotion. Political science professor Norrell mentions some of them.
This idea of voter suppression come from like the less amount of time that you have to request an absentee ballot, the stronger voter ID laws that are there for absentee ballots.
Saying the state ID law change could impact disproportionately affected communities.
Populations of Black, Hispanic, other minority voters.
Pointing out the changes come at the heels of alleged election fraud that has not been confirmed. And there has been a backlash for the new laws. Major League Baseball pulling its All-Star game from Atlanta. But there are positives to the laws, she says, such as processing ballots.
Which should mean that counting absentee ballots can move much more quickly when the polls close.
And adding infrastructure.
This bill requires that polling location to either add more polling workers or split it up for the next election.
Governor Kemp said in response to the backlash via Twitter, "I will not back down. Georgians will not be bullied. We will continue to stand for secure, accessible, fair elections." Reporting live in the studio, Karen Aguilar, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Karen. Governor Kemp will hold a press conference tomorrow at noon in response to the baseball announcement. Count on Channel 3 for coverage.